Hare Krishna everyone. Thank you so much for coming on this Sunday feast, Sunday morning. We are expecting a little more attendance, but I hope once we get started, in the due course of time, people will turn in. So before starting, we'll do some kirtan. We'll sing Jai Ram. So I request Devesh Prabhu to please help me with the katha. And let's sing Jai Radha Madhav for maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we can get started. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari 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 Yashoda Nandana Bhaj Jana Nandana 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 Yamuna Tira Vanchari Yamuna Tira Vanchari Yamuna Tira Vanchari Yamuna Tira Vanchari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jai.
Thank you so much, Devesh Prabhu, for wonderful Katal name. Okay, so we will proceed with the session today, and topic which has been handed to me today is the first canto, third chapter, second verse. I think first verse was covered in the last session, right? So Rani Prabhu covered the third chapter, first verse, right? If I'm not wrong, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, before we proceed, I would just like to dedicate this session to the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Arki. I would also like to dedicate this session to my Guru Maharaj for his pleasure. I have just taken up this seva, and I hope humble effort of mine will please both Srila Prabhupada as well as my Guru Maharaj. So before we proceed, I would like to chant some pranam mantras to invoke auspiciousness. Those who know can repeat after me. Those who don't, I would request them to please listen very intently, because listening is also very, very purifying. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttamadanam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Saprajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Samadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Bhutesh Gopikatanta Radhatanta Namaste Taptakamchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Harite Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prempadaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratrishe Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mungam karoti vashalam pangum langate giri yat kripatamham vande Shri Guru Dikhataya Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishra Hari Om Tat Sat. Narayanam namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Narachaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Mudire
Tato Jayam Udire
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nashtrayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagvatya Uttama Shloke
Bhagavatya Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishmiki.
Bhakti Bhavati Naishiki.
Okay, what did we learn in the last session? How many of you attended the previous session? Yeah, in case Sachita Prabhu took the session. Can anyone recall what takeaways were there from that session?
So, importance of Bhagavatam, glory of Bhagavatam.
And what did we learn?
Actually, we quoted few from Srila Prabhupada. You can say if you are not reading for 2 hours, and you are eating, you are sleeping, you fall down.
Yes, that is very good. And another thing, I think Sachita Prabhu gave a very nice example, like how Bhagavatam should be imbibed. What is Srimad Bhagavatam and how it can be imbibed in our day-to-day lives, right? Can anyone recall?
So Bhagavatam is like a ripened mango.
Yes.
So from wherever you eat,
Yeah.
it will be
Ah. Very good, very good. Yes, so I think the crux of the whole session last time was this particular shloka. Okay, please try to repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam.
Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam.
Shukmukhad amrita drava sanjutam.
Sukhamukhamrita drava.
Pivata Bhagavatam rasamalayam.
Pivata Bhagavatam rasamalayam.
Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha.
Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha.
And what was the meaning of this verse? The translation goes like this: O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam as a mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It has emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including the liberated souls. Yes? And in the purport, it is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada mentions, Srimad Bhagavatam is a cream of all Vedic literatures. Yes? And considering this, patient and submissive hearing is definitely essential. Right? One should not come and hear Bhagavatam in a questioning mood. Okay? Submission or the surrender is the most important thing actually first. First and foremost thing, we have to surrender. And patiently we need to hear because at times it becomes a little complicated. Okay? So we have to read over and over again to understand, to grab those concepts. Okay? So that is the first thing. With great respect and attention, one should revive the message and the lessons imparted by Srimad Bhagavatam. So I can recall that Srila Prabhu, in the last session, he was giving a very nice example of a mango. Can anyone remember the breed of that mango? Kohinoor mango, right? And what are the qualities of that Kohinoor mango?
No skin, no seeds.
Yeah, no skin, no seeds, just pulp is there. And seed is there, but it's a very small seed, right? So only one can relish the pulp. And that Kohinoor mango is also very expensive, right? 1300 rupees per piece. That's what Srila told us, right? So when we pluck those mangoes from the trees, that is a very specific process. It is not handled like all the other ordinary mangoes, right? People, they put the ladder on the tree, then one person goes at the top, and there are a few people standing on the different rungs of the ladder. The person plucks the fruit, hands it over to the next person, that person hands it over to the next person, and like that it comes down and ultimately very nicely and gently it is put into the basket, right? It's not just pluck and throw it into the basket, not like that. Right? So Srimad Bhagavatam can also be compared to this ripened fruit, to this Kohinoor mango, basically, right? It's the ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures, and it also has to be imbibed very carefully. And how do we imbibe that? Just as the mango comes down from one person to another, to another, to another, in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam also comes down from the Guru Shishya Parampara, right? Right from Narad Muni to, to Lord Brahma to Narad Muni, to his disciples and so on and so forth. So that Guru Shishya Parampara is very important. Okay, we should not go and try to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from any professional Kathavachaks, right? Unfortunately, this is the case these days, right? Anyone who is just, not coming from any Guru Shishya Parampara, they simply, just do a Bhagavad Katha, and that too in Sri Dham Vrindavan, right? And that is very, very dangerous especially for the devotees like us, okay? So just try to, inculcate these qualities which have been mentioned. That one, it has to be a submissive hearing, and it has to be learned very patiently. Now the reason why I am saying this, that the verse which has been given to me is 1.3.2, okay? All this, bhumika that I did right now, just that submissive hearing and all those things, is because of this. Now this particular verse will be technical verse, okay? And it's quite likely that all of you may fall asleep, getting bored. So therefore I'm just, giving you precondition that, okay, it has to be listened very carefully in a submissive way. Please don't fall asleep. If you fall asleep, I'll start asking questions, okay? But, okay, jokes aside, what I have done is that I have tried to, put some very nice pictures in the slides, okay? So, just go through that, and I think we'll be doing good in the entire session, okay? So, what is the first canto known as? The title of the first canto?
Creation.
Creation, yes. So all this while, in our schools, colleges, universities, we have been, trying to learn about this universe from the scientific point of view, correct? Okay, the stars, planets, galaxies, on whatnot. But we'll come to understand that what are the limitations of the modern science today, and how Srimad Bhagavatam is superior to that, and what is the exact structure of our universe, and what we have been doing for all these years and all these days, okay? So verse number 1.3.2 goes like this. Please repeat after me. Yasyam bhasi shayanasya yoga nidram vitanvatah nabhi hridam pujat asi Brahma Vishwasrijampati Yasyam bhasi shayanasya Yoga nidram vitanvatah Nabhi hridam pujadasi Brahma Vishwasrijampati Yasyam bhasi shayanasya Yoga nidram vitanvatah Nabhi hridam pujadasi Brahma Vishwasrijampati. Anyone who would like to recite this? Yasyam bhasi shayanasya Yoga nidram vitanvatah Nabhi hridam pujadasi Brahma Vishwasrijampati. From Mataji's side, anyone? Please go ahead, Mataji. Yasyam bhasi shayanasya Yoga nidram vitanvatah Nabhi hridam pujadasi Brahma Vishwasrijampati. Thank you so much. We'll go through the translation. A part of the Purusha lies within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop the stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers of the universe, becomes manifest. Right? A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop the stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers of this universe, becomes manifest. Now, when they read the translations like this, right, anyone may say, especially the atheists, they will say that, okay, this seems very fantastic. Okay, that some huge personality is lying down in an ocean, a lotus is coming out of his navel, right, and then another personality appears on that lotus, and then that entire creation is happening, okay? It's just like a bedtime story for the kids, right? And, you know, like we have been conditioned to think that way, okay? When people start challenging us like this, so we also think that, sahi bol raha hai, like, it's not possible, right? I mean, it's a very weird thing. Why? Because we never ever question back the scientific theories, okay? Because we have been born and brought up like that, okay? That whatever science is saying, just accept kar lo, maan lo, samajh mein aata hai, samjho, nahi to maan lo, like that. So, what we have to understand here is that we need to start questioning the scientific explanations also, okay? And once we start understanding, once we start questioning the scientific explanations, we will understand that the scientific theories are also as fantastic as Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so many inconsistencies there. There are so many, changes are happening every year or maybe every few years. That is very, very difficult. They cannot come up with any consistent theory. Okay, so far. So the modern science will try to understand. Okay, one by one. So first question. What do you understand by science? What is science? Can anyone say?
Truth.
Science is truth, okay?
Actually, you explain through practical. That is science.
Okay, anyone? Mataji?
Prove it. In general, people think that it is proven, so we should accept that.
Yes, okay. So all of you are partially correct, but basically science, it's a process, okay? Science is a process where we first put some hypotheses or postulates, okay, on our general observation. Then we put those scientific postulates or hypotheses in an experiment. We make some observations in an experiment, and then we, on basis of the result, if the results are consistent with our hypothesis, then it becomes a theory, okay, and then that goes on and on like that. So this is basically the science, okay, what we know in general, okay. So, but tell me, is it a perfect method? What method I described? That you observe certain things, you postulate a hypothesis, and then you put it in an experiment. If the experiment is successful, that hypothesis becomes a theory. Is it a perfect method?
No.
Why?
Because you,
Okay, I'll give the chance to both of you. Sanjeev, go proceed.
Actually, there are certain specific conditions are there.
Hmm.
It's not a universal thing. Certain specific condition that hypothesis also is not perfect. That is also some percentage. That many percentage it should be. And then after that you do practicals. And then certain conditions are there. If that condition doesn't met, the experiment will not go.
Yeah.
because you cannot experiment everything.
Experiment everything, okay, that is. But what is the reason of that imperfection? Just to...
Prabhuji, this modern science is basically based on Pratyaksh Praman and Anuman Praman.
Yes.
So that is the reason. And other thing is our senses are imperfect.
Very nice.
So with imperfect senses we can't.
Yes. This is the answer I was looking for, right? So the main reason is that science is not a perfect method because why material science is not perfect? Because it is created by imperfect sources, right? Our senses itself are imperfect. So how can we come up with something perfect when the source itself is imperfect, right? And what are the imperfection of the senses? There are 4 limitations, okay? Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. First, our senses themselves are imperfect, okay? They have certain limitations. For example, our eyes, okay? We can see only up to a particular visual range and only within that spectrum, okay? We cannot see ultraviolet and infrared, okay? Although some animals may be able to see that, but they also have their own limitations. Similarly, the smell or the sound, okay? Everything is limited for us, right? So that is imperfection of senses. Second, because our senses are imperfect, we have tendency to create mistakes. If I ask any one of you to come here and count from 1 to 3,000, how many of you are confident that you will do it in one go without making any single mistake? It's very, very difficult, right? Even to do something as simple as counting, it requires a lot of practice, coming and standing in front of a group of people and then just counting from 1 to 3,000 or writing it down. Okay? So because our senses are imperfect, we have tendency to commit mistakes. And third, we are always illusion. Okay? So, Dinesh, tell me, what is the color of the sun in the morning?
What is?
The color of the sun in the morning?
It differs.
No, in the morning. Orange. Okay, in the afternoon? Yellowish. Again, in the evening? Orange.
Orange, reddish, reddish.
So, what is the actual color of the sun?
No color.
Sun actually is white in color with a bluish tinge. Right? Our material scientists, they say that sun is a star, a medium-sized star. As a star grows in size, it becomes blue in color. Right? So this gives us that we are already illusion. This whole material world itself is an illusion. Right? We are seeing orange, we are seeing yellow, but we never see white. Correct? So this is just one example. Okay? And this whole material world is an illusion. Illusion means Maya, that which is not. Okay? So our senses are already, we are already in illusion. And because we have all these three imperfections, the fourth imperfection automatically comes up is the propensity to cheat. Right? If something is not going our way, we just try to modify that thing, just to, so that it is consistent with what we think. How many of you have cheated in your lives? In the exams? Very nice. Even I have done that. Especially in the practical exams or in the physics practicals. Yes. I still recall when I was in 11th grade, there was a very simple experiment we had to do. Right? There was a pendulum. We had to hang that pendulum on a brass or a metal stand, oscillate that pendulum. You take the frequency and the time period, calculate the force, and then force mass times acceleration due to gravity will give you. You have to calculate the acceleration due to gravity, right? Yeah, कितना भी कर लिया reading आ ही नहीं रहा. Acceleration due to gravity is somewhere around 9.8 meters per second square. Yeah, 9.8 छोड़ 6 भी नहीं आ रहा. Right? And this happens. सब कुछ वही कर रहे हैं जो लिखा हुआ है बुक में. We are oscillating it. We are taking the time period, but still, the readings are not there. So what did we do? ठीक है यार, we know that it's 9.8. The answer should be 9.8. थोड़ा इधर उधर adjustment करके we will just know that. Okay, fine. So this is a tendency to cheat, propensity to cheat. Okay, so these are the four problems. So that is the reason why modern science cannot be perfect, because it is coming out from an imperfect source. Correct? So this is one thing. And again, the sciences, there are some more examples for sciences limited understanding. Okay? It always keeps on changing with time. So the pictures that you see here are 3 pictures, and they have all proven beyond doubt that how science keeps on fluctuating. First one is planet Pluto. I think all of you must be sympathizing with that whole thing, right? When I was in 2nd grade, that was the first time I read about our solar system and the universe and everything, right? And that time we read that Earth has 9 planets, okay? And the farthest one is Pluto, correct? After a few decades, maybe 15 years or so, scientists thought that, yeah, it will jump nahi raha hai. I mean, it is not, fitting into the definition of a planet, okay? So let's remove it from the planet. So then they said, okay, Pluto is not a planet, it is just any other heavenly body orbiting the sun, just like asteroid or anything, right? So it's also like that. Pluto was also sad, yeah, demotion ho gaya, yaar, abhi bekar planet tha, right? So anyways, fine. Another 10 years passed, scientists said, no, wo pehle wala galat tha, right? I mean, I think Pluto is still a planet, okay? So another 10 years passed, and then okay, no, it's still not fitting into the definition of a planet. I think we should call it a dwarf planet. So Pluto is also confused. क्या जो decide करना है कर ले लो, पर बता दो मुझे एक बार कि planet हो कि नहीं हो. So this is the condition of our material science today. But we never question it. Why? Because we are conditioned not to question, right? In the school, schools were taught not to question them. Similarly, the second one that you see, this is a formula that we come across in the 11th or 12th grade, right? It's the formula for calculating the force, gravitational force between 2 masses, right? And it's given force is equal to the product of 2 masses divided by the square of distance between them, and this whole thing is multiplied by something known as g, which is known as the universal gravitational constant, right? And this g is supposed to have a constant value no matter where we take the reading, whether we take the reading on this, in a laboratory, or maybe we take it in a moving bus or somewhere, anywhere. But the g should be constant. You won't believe it that in last 3 decades, this value of G has changed 4 times. Scientists have done that, right? So how can we say that science is perfect? Third one, this is, can anyone tell me what are these pictures, the third picture?
How human,
Yeah, it's popularly known as Yeti, right? Yeti, or in the North American side, it is known as the Bigfoot, correct? Now, there are so many innumerable sightings happening each and every single day. In a year, you don't know that, especially in North America, these sightings are very, very common in the forests, right? In the Himalayan regions also, people have come across big footprints and everything. Some have even taken pictures. But the scientists are not ready to believe that. Okay? They always keep on questioning where is the proof, where is the proof, and this is the biggest flaw of the material science today. That instead of admitting our limited understanding, that okay, we don't know these certain things, we have to do some more investigations. What happens? They simply say that no, this thing doesn't exist, right? So this is something, a big limitation, and asking for proof is actually, again, like it has become a very, what to say, unfortunately it has become a very common thing, like atheists today, actually. I still recall, there was an acquaintance, she was a Mataji actually, and she used to reside in my own apartment community, acquaintance of my wife basically, right? And her father was a very spiritual person, but Mataji was an atheist, and she always used to question her father. So that kind of an argument was always happening between between her and her father. Okay. So one day we all were there, and in front of us they started this thing that the father was actually supporting the Bhagavad Gita, but Mataji was questioning him back. Okay, that where is the proof? How do you say that Ved Vyasa has written the Bhagavad Gita? How can you say that Lord Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita? So I just questioned her back, Mataji, that who is this person standing right beside you? She said, he is my father. How do you know? Do you have the proof that he is your father? Did you get the DNA test done that he is your father? Mataji said, no. My mother told me and a few people told me. So then I questioned her back that okay, when some people are telling you that this is your father, you simply blindly believe them. And when the same people are telling you that okay, Krishna has given us the Bhagavad Gita, why are you questioning? Why are you asking for the proof? Right? So there are certain things where certain things are what, like there are so many things which we simply tend to assume. We do not ask for proof actually. We go to a nice fine dining restaurant and we order the food very nicely, right? Butter naan and paneer butter masala and what else? Dal makhni. When that food is served to us, we simply dig in and we start enjoying that food. Does anyone ask for proof that whether this food has been prepared in a hygienic way or not? What is the guarantee that there was not a dead cockroach in your dal makhni and that same dal makhni has been served to you when you are eating that? Correct? No one asks for that proof, right? Right? What is the reason why we do not ask for such a proof? Because this particular thing is gratifying our senses, correct? So this thing we need to understand. Similarly, we are going on a vacation, right? Do we go and ask for the proof to the airline staff that okay, I want to prove that the engines of the aircraft have been examined very nicely by the ground folks, right? We never go and ask that, right? So this is a general human tendency that we tend to accept only those things which are conducive for our sense gratification and tend to reject those things where even a small bit of austerity is required. Okay? So, and same is the problem with the material science. It keeps on asking for proof, but they themselves cannot come up with a consistent theory. Okay? This is one example. Another one is that the scientific theories keep on changing, as I described in these 3 pictures, right? And then fourth, the scientific theories break down at some point or the other. Okay, like I asked you that what is a compound made of? People will say molecules. What are molecules made of? Atom. What are atoms made of? Quarks. What are quarks made of? Strings. What are strings made of? Right? You keep drilling down, and then at one point will come where the scientific theories will break down. Right? But that is not the case with spiritual science. Spiritual science is coming from an absolute source. So it never breaks down at any point of time. Okay? So this is another limitation. And the biggest mess of all times is the Big Bang Theory. I'm not talking about the TV series, right? That was a comedy serial, but the actual Big Bang Theory, which scientists believe. And what does this theory say? That from a point mass, there was a point mass, okay, and it suddenly expanded in a very quick time to something which is infinite. And because of that expansion, all the stars, galaxies, all the heavenly bodies that we know of, they got created. Now, even a 15 or 16-year-old, boy or girl can figure out that this is an utter nonsense. How can that be possible? So, थोड़ी देर के लिए मान भी लिया कि it's something can get created out of a sudden expansion. How do you explain the mind, the human intelligence, the ego, right? Our feelings, can they come out of sudden expansion or something like a bang? It cannot, right? So there has to be something else, behind the creation, a force which is, which we are still not able to comprehend, or rather, the material scientists are not able to comprehend. Anyone who believes in such a theory is, like the same as that I take a glass jug and smash it on the floor, and the sound that comes out when people are saying that okay, Rag Bhairavi, Rag Malhar, and Rag Bhim Palasi are coming out of that. Is that possible? No. So these are the limitations of our material science. But since we do not question it, rather we tend to question our own scriptures, and then we start calling it mythology or bedtime stories or something. But if we think deeply, we will see that material science itself has lots and lots of inconsistencies, and they are not ready to believe their limited understanding. Rather, they will just say that okay, this particular thing or this particular phenomenon doesn't exist. But Srimad Bhagavatam is perfect. Okay, we have to understand that. Why? Because it is coming from the perfect source, and that perfect source is Sri Krishna himself, right? It is mentioned in the Vedic scriptures that all the Vedas or the Vedic scriptures, like Krishna has, breathed them out, from the breath of Krishna they have emanated, right? So, I mean, it's just a perfect source coming from the perfect absolute truth, and it has not changed a bit, right? These Vedic scriptures are there since time immemorial, right? But when Kali Yuga started, at that time, all the great sages, they actually knew that what will be the fallen condition of the people of Kali Yuga, right? They knew that they cannot imbibe this kind of knowledge just by hearing. Okay, Shravanam was just not enough for us. It had to be documented somewhere so that we can go through it over and over again. Because what is that shloka? Manda sumanda mateyo, manda bhagya, right? That is the situation of the fallen condition of the people of Kali Yuga, right? So, Ved Vyas actually wrote it down 5,000 years ago, Srimad Bhagavatam, and he just translated all the Vedic literatures, correct? And since 5,000 years, it has not changed a bit. It has been the same, unlike the material scientists, which keeps on changing, after every 10, 15 years, okay? So, information is also consistent, it has not changed, and the same information which has been given in Srimad Bhagavatam are being discovered by material scientists today. One very nice example is the multiverse theory. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam was very clear right from the beginning that there are more than one universes, there are innumerable universes. But scientists are coming up with that, okay, there are multiple verses and universes and all these things, there is an interaction and all those things, all the theoretical physics which comes up. Okay? So another reason why this Srimad Bhagavatam is an absolute source is because it is explained by none other than Krishna himself. And Krishna himself is a creator. If you happen to buy a washing machine, okay, and you run into some problems, then who is the best person who can attend to that problem? The technical person who understands the functionality of the machine, or the sales guy who is sitting in a nice air-conditioned showroom and selling that machine to you? Obviously the technical person, right? Because he knows it inside out. If I have created a software, the best person to know about the functionality is me. You will have to come to me. Okay? Support guys will know it to a certain extent, but since I have created it, I can give you the entire insight of that. Correct? So similarly, this whole creation is created by Krishna, and when Krishna is giving us this knowledge of all the Vedas, of the Srimad Bhagavatam, then why not just take it as it is? Right? Why do you question that? Correct? So it's all there. It's just a, like choice is ours. Whether you have to go, if you have to go to a 20-story 20th floor of a multi-story building, either you can take an elevator or you can take the stairs, right? Taking the stairs is also not a problem. Yes, someone might say that, okay, मुझे जाना person will just take the elevator and go there. Person who takes the stair will be called a very hard-working person, but they will not be called as a smart person, correct? So this we have to understand. When all the knowledge is there, just take it as it is. And in the first verse of first canto, third chapter, first verse, now we'll come to the creation part. Okay. The innumerable universes are generated from the sinkholes of this Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and in each one of the universes, the Lord enters as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Okay, so this is from the first part. So we'll try to understand what is this. Okay. Now, the picture you see here is that of Mahavishnu or Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Okay, so this material world is also basically a small part in the spiritual world itself. Okay. Only 1/4 of the total creation is material. Okay, the rest all is spiritual. So in the spiritual world, there is a huge, vast ocean, and out of His causeless mercy, Lord Krishna expands Himself as Karanodakshaya Vishnu, and this gigantic form of Vishnu, it lies down in that ocean, basically, right? And since Krishna is known as cause of all causes, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigram, Anadira Adira Govinda, Sarva Karan Karan. Okay, He's the cause of all causes, and because He is lying down in this ocean of causes, so that's why this ocean is known as the causal ocean. Okay, because everything has a cause. Apart from Krishna, because He is the source, He is the cause of all causes, there has to be a cause, right? The farmer sows the seeds, only then the crop or the field production happens, correct? If, the person gets into the car, starts the engine and starts driving, only then the car comes in the motion, right? So that is true for everything. So here also, even for material creation, there has to be a cause, and that cause is Mahavishnu or Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Now when Mahavishnu lies down on this ocean, okay, and he's in Yoga Nidra, he's inhaling and exhaling, right? He's breathing. And just because of his, inhalation and exhalation, all this, material creation is happening. When he exhales, all, this innumerable universes that you see in the form of small spheres, they come out from the pores of his body, right? And they remain manifest as long as he is exhaling, and when he inhales, everything comes back again within his body. Okay? So this is the basic, how the creation actually starts. Okay? And there is a nice verse in Brahma Samhita which says, Yasya ka Vishwasita kalam athavalam vya Jivan Tilomudaraja Jagadandanatha, which means Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds appearing from the pores of Mahavishnu remain alive as long as the duration of exhalation of the latter. Okay? As long as Mahavishnu is exhaling, all the material creation is there. Once he inhales, everything comes back inside him. Okay? I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, whose subjective personality Mahavishnu is the portion of the portion. So it is an expansion of the expansion of Lord Sri Krishna. Okay? Now this was about the Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Now even when the universes were created, what happened? That they were still very inert. Nothing was happening inside that. Okay? In fact, this whole material thing is actually material substance, which is known as the Mahatattva, which is the ingredients for all the material creation. It's very inert in itself. Okay? So it has to be kind of agitated or electrified. Okay? How that is done? Mahavishnu glances on the Mahatattva, and because of his glance, that agitation takes place. But still, when the universes are created, different universes are created, they are still very, very inert. Nothing is happening there. Okay? It's just like, say, if I just plug off that thing, okay, everything will be switched off, right? That power point is there, right? That is actually completing the circuit. So similarly, the absence of the spiritual spark in any material thing is just like a broken circuit. Okay? So once that spiritual spark is there, only then everything will start working properly. So Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is another form of Vishnu which enters into each and every single universe. Okay? So if you come back here, you see, just try to observe any one of the spheres. Okay? Very faintly it is visible, but Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is there, very faint lotus star you can see, and Mother Lakshmi you can see, right? So once he enters into each and every universe, what he does, he starts releasing a lot of water from his body. Okay, so this entire universe is just like a coconut. If you try to understand the structure of a coconut, it has a very hard covering from outside, but from within, it's very soft also, and it is half filled with water. Okay, same thing happens with each and every single universe. Mahavishnu actually Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into each and every single universe. He starts releasing a lot of water from all over his body. Okay, and our acharyas call it transcendental perspiration. Okay, he's perspiring until that whole sphere, not the whole sphere, the half of that sphere is full of water. Okay, and on that ocean, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lies on the serpent bed, and that serpent bed is none other than Ananta or expansion of Lord Balram himself, right? So that is, and then from his navel, basically, that the lotus flower comes out. Okay? So another very nice verse from Brahma Samhita, which states, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. Okay? I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas, but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. Yet he is a person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. Right? So the term which is used for Sri Krishna here is Ananta Rupam, right? That means infinite. So how many incarnations are there of Lord Sri Krishna? Infinite. Yes, in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that all these incarnations are just like waves coming in an ocean. Is it possible to count the waves in an ocean? No, it's not possible, right? Very nice verse here again from Srimad Bhagavatam. Eti cham shakalakumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Vidayanti Yuge Yuge. Translation is, all the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on the planets whenever there is disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Right? So this is the verse basically. So he is Ananta, right? And just see, now you can kind of imagine the position of Lord Sri Krishna. Right? Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and still he is just aloof from all these things. Right? They are simply an expansion of Lord Sri Krishna himself. And this is our limited knowledge, right? If you ask today, people, 90 or 99% of the people who claim to follow Hindu Dharma or Sanatan Dharma, they don't know anyone beyond Lord Vishnu, right? Beyond Tridev, right? They don't know, right? So, and why it is so? Because we are not reading our scripture. We are not reading the books which are written by Srila Prabhupada, correct? The only source of truth for us are TV series, isn't it? I was just, my wife was one day scanning those TV channels and we came across, they were showing something, Radha and Krishna. I mean, some stupid love story like DDLJ, they had just, replaced the characters with Radha and Krishna. That nonsense is going on. And that is our source of truth. People tend to believe that instead of reading the scriptures, right? So this is happening. At least, when Ramanand Sagar came up with Ramayana, in 1980s, at least some reference to the scriptures were there, Ramcharitmanas or Valmiki Ramayana. But today everything is simply for TRP, right? It's very, very important that we start reading our scriptures now. It's high time we do that, okay? And Krishna is Bhagavan. Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. We have to understand that, okay? He is the avatari. From him, all the incarnations emanate, okay? The major misconception today is, किसी से पूछो कृष्ण कौन है? हाँ, वो तो विष्णु के अवतार है. Right? This is the answer that you will get. Okay? But Krishna is to Bhagavan. He is the original personality of Godhead. And there are 6 qualities which he has in complete absolute, he has these 6 qualities. What are these 6 qualities? opulence, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge and pronunciation. Okay? We all are parts and parcels of Krishna and therefore we exhibit these qualities also, but in a very small amount. Okay? Krishna is infinite, whereas we are infinitesimal. Very small, right? Compared to it. So opulence is also there in this material world. You can think of Ambani or Elon Musk or people like that. But can they claim that they have all the money in the universe or all the opulence in this universe and all the other innumerable universes? No, they cannot say that. But Krishna can say that. Right? That is the position of Krishna. He has the fame, he has the strength, right? So you may come across very strong people who are physically really very, very strong. But have you ever come across a 7-year-old child lifting a Govardhan hill, that too on his little finger of the left hand? Krishna can do that. Right? So he can say that he is the strongest. Right? So we also, being the part and parcel of Lord Sri Krishna, we also have these qualities, but they are in very small number. And from here comes the concept of Swamsha and Vibhinamsha. Okay? Swamsha, they are the Vishnu expansions or direct expansions of Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, all the spiritual planets which are known as the Vaikuntha Lokas, there are innumerable spiritual planets. Okay, they all have a presiding deity, which is the 400 Narayana form. They are different Narayana forms. Okay, so they are all known as the Swamsha. Even the 3 Vishnus that we just came across, the Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, they are also Swamsha. Okay? The quality of this Swamsha is that they are not different from Krishna. Okay, it's just that their mood is different. The reason for their appearance, because of the reason for their appearance, they choose to not exhibit some of the qualities of Sri Krishna. Okay, for example, there is no difference between Sri Krishna and Lord Ramchandra. Okay, but because Lord Ramchandra is in a different mood, he is in the mood of Maryada Purushottam, he has come here to set an example for the people of this material world. That is the reason why he chooses not to exhibit some of the characters. Okay. So when you are in office, are you the same person as you are in home? No, you maintain some formality. There is a distance between you and your colleagues, right? Same thing is here, right? You cannot go to Lord Vishnu, keep your hands on his shoulders and tell him that chalo makhan chura kar ke aate hain. It's not like that, right? The mood is different, correct? But with Krishna you can do that. You can jump on his shoulders and he will run carrying you on the banks of river Yamuna, right? You cannot, like just imagine Supreme telling Lord Ramchandra, makhan chura kar ke aate hain. What will be the reaction of Lord Ramchandra? Maryada Purushottam. How can we even think of stealing? Right? Just because of this very thought, you are punishable now, Supreme. Right? This will be the answer. Right? But Krishna is not like that. Right? So, this is the Swamsha. They are not different from Krishna. Okay? But they just choose not to display some of the qualities of Krishna. Okay? Vibhinamsha comprises of us, the living entities. Okay? And these Vibhinamshas are, they, as I said, they also have very limited potency. Now, Holi went by very recently. How many of you attended the Holika Dahan? Did you observe that when the fire is, burning very nicely in its full glory, at the top of the fire there are innumerable sparks coming out, small little tiny sparks, right? They're just like those tiny sparks. That spark is also having that heat and light, okay? But the amount of heat and amount of light which a spark has is very, very little compared to the actual fire which is burning, correct? We are also like those tiny sparks, okay? We also have the qualities of Sri Krishna, but in very minute quantity. It's just like a rock of gold and a tiny particle of gold, right? Elementally, they both are same. That is what Prabhupada explains in the purport in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Elementally, the rock of gold is also same and the tiny particle of gold is also same, but the value is different. So this is our basically situation here. So now that we have all these 6 qualities of Sri Krishna in minute quantities, what can we do with that? Okay. Another difference between us and Sri Krishna is that one who possesses the first 5 qualities, opulence, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, generally you will not find renunciation in that person, right? That is the hardest problem. But Krishna is fully renounced. Okay. He is completely Atmaram. Thousands, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis are serving him, but still he is unattached to all of them. Right? He doesn't need the service of those many devotees and everything. Just for our happiness, for the satisfaction of devotees, he is just carrying out all his pastimes. Okay? But what is the situation of us? Even if we have any one of these 6 qualities, we immediately become puffed up. What to say? Renunciation is a very distant thing, actually, right? So how can we, perfect our lives? We have all these six qualities in us. So how can we perfect our life? Just simply by dovetailing ourselves in the service of Krishna. If we dovetail every quality that we have in the service of Krishna, our lives will be perfect. Even if we do not have any of these qualities, slowly these qualities will start manifesting. Okay? Only thing is that instead of being puffed up, we need to dovetail ourselves in the service of Krishna. How many of you have been to villages? Yes. So in the villages, actually, there is one I often come across, such a scene that a guy is riding on a bicycle, a truck passes by, he gets hold of the backside of the truck, right? And now the cycle is also moving with the speed of the truck, right? Same is our situation. You just dovetail yourself and get hold of Krishna, right? Then all these opulences will come to you, right? Because of Krishna's opulences, right? And all these qualities will manifest, and your life will be perfect. So this is a nice example that Prabhupada used to give. Okay, that you will also start moving. So now comes the concept of Nitya Bhadra and Nitya Siddha. So who is Nitya Siddha? As I said, that this entire creation is comprises of the spiritual world and comprises of the material world. Material creation is just 1/4 of the total creation, right? So people who are residing in the spiritual world are known as Nitya Mukta or Nitya Siddha. Okay? Why? Because they are eternally free. Okay? And I'll make you understand what this freedom is all about. Okay? And Nitya Baddha is just that we are completely bound. This whole material world is like a prison house. Okay? And we have it sent here. Why we have it sent here? We will be seeing in the next slide. Okay? But we are basically bound. Okay, we are not free at all. Now, when I make that statement, some people might question that, oh, India is a free country, right? A democratic republic. United States is a free country, another democratic republic. Majority of Europe is free country. How are you saying that we are not free? Right? But the problem is that, say, for example, the President of India, right? That position has certain perks associated with it. Okay, you enjoy a lot of freedom in that position. You are immune to certain laws of Indian Constitution also, right? But still, can anyone say that they are completely free from the modes of material nature or from the laws of material nature? No one can say that. No one can claim that. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, that is going to happen to each and every single one of us, right? So we are not free at all. It's an illusion that we are living in. The way that we are free, democratic, republic, and this and that and that. That freedom is not there. Just imagine a material scientist, if they have to go to, say, Moon or Mars, how much effort they have to put in? Billions and billions of dollars they first spend, right, just to send a rover to the Mars. We have not been able to send a human mission right now. Okay? But Nitya Siddhas, who are living in the spiritual world, they are completely free. They are not acted upon by the modes of material nature. Why? Because they are serving Srimati Radharani directly, internal potency of Krishna. So, Narad Muni, for example, he is a Nitya Siddha, he can go anywhere. Not just in any of the Vaikuntha lokas, he just comes to Bhuloka also, he goes in the Pakal loka also. He is equally adored by all the inhabitants of all the lokas. Right? So, this is the position of a Nitya Siddha. Right? So we must understand our critical position, okay, that we are in. Now, a question may arise that this Nitya, word Nitya means eternal. So that means we are eternal, but that we are eternally, tied down in this prison house. So how is the chance of us getting liberated, coming out of this prison house? Right? That is one question. So what our acharyas say, or what Srila Prabhupada explains, is that this word Nitya or eternal is coming because when this material world was created and when we came into existence, the time came into existence after that. Before that, time was not there. So we cannot have a point in time where we can trace back when all these things started. So that is the reason why this term Nitya is there. But definitely we will go by Krishna's words in the Bhagavad Gita. At a lot of places he has told us that You surrender unto me and you can come back to me. You worship me, you will come back to me. You know my divine qualities, you understand those divine qualities, you can come back to me. Okay? Or you remember me at the time of quitting the body, you can come back to me. Right? So many options Krishna has given us in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So we can just go by the words of Sri Krishna and the Acharyas that this Nitya is just a word to to designate that time was non-existent at the point when we came here in this material world. Okay? Nothing else. Like we can be liberated and we can become Nitya Siddhas. How? We will see a few moments time. Okay? So now why did we first came into this material world? Okay, and this is very clearly explained in the purport of the first verse. And it goes like this: the Nitya Baddha or the eternally conditioned souls have a sense of individuality or ahankar, okay, which dictates them to the sense of enjoyment which they are unable to have constitutionally. Right? So constitutionally we are servants. We are servants of Krishna. Jiva Swarup for Krishna and Nityadas. But a small ahankar, comes within us. That okay, why only Krishna can play the flute? Why can't I play the flute? Why only Krishna can enjoy with the gopis? Why can't I do the same? Why only Krishna is getting all the value in the Guru Vrindavan? Why can't I have that same position? This kind of ahankar comes inside us. Okay, we also want to become the enjoyers, and that is the reason why we are sent here in this material world. Okay, you want to enjoy? Krishna said, "Go enjoy. I will give you all the necessities, right, to enjoy that." The living beings are predominated enjoyers, but eternally conditioned souls who are grateful of the constitutional positions have strong aspirations to enjoy. A chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material world. Side by side, they are given a chance to understand their constitutional position. Right? Just give me a second. So this is a very good question. How can I enjoy and at the same time I can become liberated? It's a question. Anyone can answer. Just read the last line. What is said here? A chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material world, and side by side they are given a chance to understand their real constitutional position. That means you are enjoying also, and you are also progressing on the path of liberation. Two contradictory things, right? How is that possible?
Becoming full-time devotee.
But then the enjoyment is not there. You will have to give so many, like the sense gratificatory things, right?
If somebody chooses to do that,
Mhm.
then he is also gives the material for at the same time he is expresses spiritual.
And what if I don't choose to do that? नहीं मुझे मजा नहीं करना है भगवत धाम में वापस जाना. No, it is possible. Okay, if we in the Bhagavad Gita, there's a shloka there. The third chapter, shloka number 10. Okay, and it says like this: in the beginning of the creation, Lord of all creations, that means Sri Krishna, sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with them sacrifices or yajnas for Vishnu. Okay, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna or sacrifice." Okay, because this performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Okay, so this yajna has been sent to us by Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, for every yuga there is a designated yajna which we have to perform. Okay, for example, in Satyuga, meditation was the primary yuga dharma. In the Treta Yuga, fire sacrifices were there. In Dwapar Yuga, deity worship was there. And what is there in Kali Yuga? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, in the 5th chapter, 29th verse, it is clearly mentioned, Bhokta Ram Yekatapasam Sarva Lok Maheshwar. So, who is the enjoyer, ultimate enjoyer of all the yajnas? Sri Krishna, right? And he has said that, okay, you perform this yajna, you follow the prescribed duties according to your varnashram system, okay? And then you will be happy, you will be doing some sense gratification also, and at the same time, you will be slowly progressing on the path of liberation, okay? Small example I will try to, give. Say for example, I am a very materialistic person. I want to do some sense gratification. What do I pray for? Dhanam Dehi, Putram Dehi, kind of those things. Now I want to get these things. What will I do? I will go, I'll see what is written in the scripture. It will be written, okay, you need a Purohit who will perform certain yajna for you. You perform that yajna, and slowly what will happen? You will start getting all these benedictions. Okay. Now, once I start getting all these benedictions, what will happen? My faith in these scriptures will be strengthened. Okay. Then a time will come when I myself will go and start reading the scriptures. Once I start reading the scriptures, slowly what will happen? I'll come to know about Krishna. I'll come to know about his pastimes, his qualities, and all what he's doing. Slowly, I'll start getting detached from my material desires. Okay? And then, once I start getting detached from the material desires, the Vedas and the Yajna themselves will guide us, right, to take up the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the stage of Kalika. So this is how you can perform the sense gratifications and at the same time march on the path of liberation. Right? I'll come to that too. Okay? So I will march on the path of liberation. Okay? So isn't this wonderful? And this has been given to us by Lord Sri Krishna. The irony is that we do not read the Bhagavad Gita. Everything is there. Right? We have to read scrutinizing. Okay? So another name of Krishna is Yajna. So we have to perform this Yajna to satisfy Krishna. Okay, and he remains in the heart of all the living entities. Once we start performing yajna with of desire that okay Krishna, enough of all this nonsense, I just want to come back to you. I surrender it to you. From this point of time, I am yours and you are mine. Okay, this kind of desire if we have in the heart, right at that moment, he is present as a Paramatma in our hearts. What will happen? He understands. Okay, this fellow is more interested in coming back to me. Let me help him. Okay. So now we come to this is enough about Krishna's description. Okay. Now we come to talk about Lord Brahma. Right. We saw that on the lotus flower that is coming out of the navel of Lord Vishnu, the Brahma, who is the first living entity, he is manifested, and the position of Brahma is that he is the secondary creator. Okay, he is the first living entity, and on instructions of Lord Sri Krishna, he starts creating the material world. And what is the lifespan of Brahma? Well, it's huge, compared to our human lifespan. So, duration of Satyuga is 1,728,000 years, Treta Yuga is 1,296,000 years, Dwapar is 864,000 years, and Kali Yuga lasts for 432,000 years. Take the sum of all this, multiply that by 1,000, that is 12 hours of Brahma. Okay, and the same is the duration of Brahma's night. Okay, that means twice of this number is 1 day of Brahma. Okay, and 1 day of Brahma also has 24 hours. Okay, and there are 360 days, in Brahma's 1 year. Okay, so 1 year of Brahma is Brahma's 360 days, and Brahma lives for 100 years. So you can just imagine, it comes around 4.3 trillion Earth years, right? It's huge compared to we can't even imagine that number, right? How many zeros are following after 4.3, right? But just look at the situation, okay? What they said in Brahma Samhita, Vishnu Mahan Sariha Yasya Kalad Vishesho Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajam. Brahma and other lords of the mundane worlds appearing from the course of Mahavishnu remain alive as long as the duration of exhalation of matter. Okay? Only as long as Mahavishnu is exhaling, this, the lifespan of Brahma is only that much. So this 4.3 trillion years may seem very big from the universal scale for us, but from the universal scale, it's just like what Prabhupada says, small tiny bubbles in the Atlantic. Okay? So small. And then what it says, within the stem of that lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, and earthly planets are situated in the middle. Upward there are other better planetary systems, and the topmost planetary system is called Brahma Loka or Satya Loka. Downwards from the earthly planetary system, there are 7 lower planetary systems inhabited by the Asuras and similar materialistic living beings or living entities. Right? So we'll try to understand a little bit more. This will give you a much clearer picture. Okay? So we are here, the middle part that you see. Okay? This is known as a Bhuloka. Now when I say the Bhuloka, the term Bhuloka doesn't only mean this Prithvi or this earth. Okay? It's a concentric disk that you see. Okay? These are concentric disks, and this entire cross section it comprises of several innumerable Earth-like planets. Okay, and this is known as the Bhuloka. As we go above, it's the Bhuraloka, and above Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janloka, Tatloka, and ultimately Brahmaloka. Similarly, you come down, it's Atal, Hutal, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. These are the lower planetary systems. Okay? And you see the difference, the distance between these two concentric disks. Okay, so we are here in the Bhuloka, and this is the Bhuraloka, and this is the space between these two. That is what is known as the interstellar space, the stars and galaxies that we are seeing. And all the research work that we are doing, we think that we are trying to study the universe. But this is the universe actually. We have not even scratched the surface, let me tell you that. Okay? But just look at our Vedic scriptures, it gives us the complete picture, right? And we are not in an illusion when we are reading the Vedic scriptures. Okay? So, how can we become Nitya Siddha? From Nitya Vada, we are in this coconut-like thing, okay? Trapped here in the prison house. We need to get out of this, okay? And beyond this black thing that you see is the spiritual world. So, how can we go there? How can we become Nitya Siddha? Just look at this picture. What these pictures show? That we are trying to exploit this material nature in every possible way, okay? We have this doership mentality, we have this tendency to lord over the material nature. Okay? The ahankara that is there, to enjoy. That ahankara that we have to give up. Okay? The whole purpose of this material creation is bhakti. It doesn't matter whether we are studying any material science or spiritual science. Okay? Someone may be a PhD in material science. Okay? Someone may be a very good, like a very well-read person of the Vedic scriptures. But if all these efforts are not making us a devotee of Krishna, then it is simply a wastage of time. Shram evahi devanam. Right? So the only purpose is bhakti. Anything else that we are doing, our office, our family, our whatever, okay? We are just fooling around, we are just beating about the bush. Okay? We have to understand that. Because we need to understand that this Prakriti is the external potency of Krishna, it belongs to Krishna, it doesn't belong to us. It is not there for us, for free to enjoy. And just look at that, what we are doing today. Okay, we are exploiting it in every possible way. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Takshena Prakriti Suryatesa Characharam. Right? That means this material nature of mine works under my supervision. Okay? My adhyakshita, right? Maya Takshena Prakriti. We have to understand that. Okay, but somehow, unfortunately, we have just forgotten that Ishavasya principle. Right? Ishavasya idam sarvam, yat kincha jagatyam jagat, ten tektena bhujita, margirta tasya svidhanam. Okay? Everything animate or inanimate belongs to the Supreme Lord. We should accept only as much as it is set aside for our quota, and we should not accept, we should reject everything else, knowing well to whom they belong. Right? So when Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, let go of that ahankara, right? Because all it requires is a sincere desire. So Krishna, I just want to come back to you, right? He is seated as Paramatma in our hearts. Okay, please recite this shloka after me. Udrashta Anumanta Cha
Udrashta Anumanta Cha
Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha
Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha
Paramatmeti Chapyuto
Paramatmeti Chapyuto
Dehesmin Purushah Paraha.
Yesmin Purusha Paraha.
Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor who exists and is the overseer, permitter, and who is known as the Super Soul. Anyone who questions कि भगवान तुम्हारे अंदर है क्या प्रूफ है, right? Students of Bhagavad Gita can tell ये है proof. जाके 13th chapter पढ़ लो, right? It's written there. He is there in our hearts. He knows very well what our desires are. So our desires, whenever we make any desires, we should be very, very careful. When we come across someone who is, who has a very good personality, it comes in our minds also. यार क्या height है उसकी, मेरा भी वैसा होता तो. Think before you make such a desire. Krishna is listening. Oh, height चाहिए, okay. What complexion do you want? What hairstyle do you want? I am ready. I am going to give you. You can get it, right? If you have the proper past credits, he will definitely come take you. Okay. So just have a sincere desire to attain Him this very lifetime. Okay? And trust me, He will not disappoint you. You take one step towards Krishna, He will run 1,000 steps towards you. Right? So we have to, require just one sincere desire. Okay? And by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what happens? Our hearts is cleansed. How can we purify our desires? Okay? How can we come up, get rid of the material desires and just, desire only Krishna's lotus feet after quitting this body? Just by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sri Gaurang Mahaprabhu has said in his Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Right? When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it simply cleanses the mirrors of our heart, the dust which is accumulated on the mirrors of our heart, and our real position will be revealed to us. Correct? We will become the Swarup Siddha. Right? We will understand what is our position in Golok Vrindavan. How to do that? Because Prabhupada has made it very, very simple for us. Okay? How many of you want to be here in this center of the picture? This is an artist's impression of Vaikuntha Loka or Golok Vrindavan. Right? So in order to reach there, you have to do 4 things. ABCD of ISKCON. 1. A. Association of devotees. Okay? Not association of non-devotees. If you go in the association of non-devotees, you will be only watching IPL and Netflix. Trust me. Okay? So association of devotees is important. B. Read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. C. Chanting. And D. Diet. Diet means Krishna Prasad. Apart from this, we have to follow 4 regulative principles of freedom. Okay? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit relationship. Okay? Once we start doing that, our hearts will be cleansed. Once our heart is cleansed, our desires will be pure. Right? Once the desire is pure, to attain the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, what will happen? It's just a matter of time. Okay? That you will just break the layers of this material world and fly to Golok Vrindavan. Right? With that, I would like to conclude here. I'd like to take a pause. If there are any questions, I'll take it now. Hope it was not very boring. I tried to put some nice pictures so that it is very engaging. Okay? Prabhuji, you had a question, please. Please stop.
If you are talking of sacrifice,
Hmm.
because we are giving something, like you said, food.